Hi, Pam. Cheryl. Hi, Jean. All right, let me pin this to the top so people can find me. All right. Hi, Stephanie. Hi, Brina. Hope you guys are well today. I'm going to show you something super fun that we're going to be creating today. You should be able to make it because it requires supplies I know every one of you have if you're anything like me, which means you really, really love paper. You are also going to need scissors. You're going to need a stapler. Now, the Stampin' Up! Stapler is perfect for this because it's tiny. However, I know they don't carry this any longer, but if you have one and you need staples, I actually have gotten them before on Amazon. And when we're finished, I will post the link to my blog. Someone shared this many, many years ago when I still had staples, and I actually just opened the first box today, and I bought these probably 2 years ago. So the staples do last a really long time. They come in a humongous box, but then they also have little boxes inside, and there's lots of staples in here. It says there are 10,000 staples. So if you buy it once, you should be good for a while, unless you go on a rampage and make 800 of these things, which we're going to make. But anyway, so they, oops, upside down. They're in here, and there's the staples, and they just slide in and out, kind of like a matchbook. So lots of staples, and I will share the link again. So what we're going to do is I'm going to hold it up. And I wasn't going to go front live today because I'm still in my jammies, if I'm being honest. But refills on this, no, they don't carry the staples any longer. So that's why this is the link. These staples do fit this stapler, though. So this is what we're going to make. Now this one, as you can see how far I'm backing up, this was made with 8x8 pieces of DSP. Now, this one also, as you can see, I had to use a retired DSP. This is the very first one I've ever made, and I only made one mistake when I made it, and I will show you so you don't make it yourself and mess up your paper. But so I didn't have exactly matching 8 pieces of matching. I don't really think you need 8 pieces of matching, and the reason I did this one is because I wanted to show you that even if you use different stuff, it was still super colorful. And you can I guess you can hold it this way. It kind of looks better that way because it's more uniform. You can put a ribbon in the middle if you want to hide this big section here, and you can also use a punch, which unfortunately I don't believe we carry any of the punches. So you could take a punch if you have an old punch, and I'm going to show you this part real quick. Put that right about there. So I punched a hole in it. And I'm going to show you this, and then we'll make one together. So I'm just going to grab, you probably want something that's like a little bit bigger. Yeah, I'm going to grab this. This is a retired ribbon. So since this one is old, I'm just using something retired to show you. This is the Garden Green. I think it's the double stitch ribbon. Okay, so I'm just going to grab a piece and cut. And then I'm going to bring these two together, and I'm going to put these both through this little hole. So I'm kind of showing you the finishing of one before we start one. And then what you can do is you'll pull it through just like this. Now I would say if you're gonna give this to someone, which I think this would be a fabulous present, and it doesn't even have to be Christmas, because you could do this for absolutely any season if you wanted to give somebody a gift, and it doesn't have to be this big. You can see this one is really big because it was made with 8x8 paper. But what I would do is I would leave, and I'm trying to pull this just a little tight. I don't want it to rip, but leave a really long ribbon. That way they can hook it onto something. They could tie it if they wanted to. They could hang it up. So you could kind of tie this just as a little faux. That way they know they have a lot of length to work with. You could hang it over a door, like inside your house. And then the other thing you could do is you could make a really pretty ribbon in the center. And what I am going to do for that is I'm going to use this because this ribbon is really pretty. This is that metallic mesh ribbon. So if you remember this, I'm just going to make a real quick bow. And then we'll flip down and make some of these. And the reason I said on here that you could probably do this for anything, you could make big ones. I'm also going to make a 6x6. So I will show you the size difference for that. You could also make miniature ones if you wanted to maybe add them to your gift. So this, you see the size of this. This isn't huge. Now this kind of depends on what you want to do with it. If you want to put this on, I'm just going to put it on for now just with a couple mini glue dots. So I'm just going to grab a couple and put them on the back of this. I have 3 here. I think that should be good. So 3 mini glue dots. I have a ribbon. And then we'll kind of pop this. Let's see. So this is the, I'm going to put this right here. Kind of just centering it. It depends on what you want it to look like, but I know that might be hard to see because of the ribbon. But it gives like a little bit of something to the middle. And then there is your finished project. Okay, so again, I'm trying to talk loud because I am very far away right now because it's so big to fit in the camera, but it is really a large size. It's very simple to make. Maybe the first time you make one of these, you might want to make one with some paper that's not your favorite, just in case you don't like the size of it, or maybe you need a practice piece. But I'll tell you, once you make one correctly, it's super easy. So we're going to make this. We're going to make one with a 6x6, which I already have cut out. And then I think I might do one as a 4x4 just to make a little one. And that way we can see what it looks like. So let's see, is there anywhere I can hang this so it's not going to fall down? Probably not, because everything in here is, oh, you know what I have? I have a little thing. I'm going to grab a clip. So the reason I'm live today, Wednesday, which is a school day, is because the Rainbow Stamper's sick. He has a, thank goodness, he has an ear infection, but unfortunately he had to get a strep and a COVID test, poor kid, because to be able to go back to school, you have to have that. So I'm going to hang this up here for now. Let's clip that on. So you can see, I mean, it's pretty good size. Definitely a very good size. So since we were off, unfortunately today, because of him having to wait to be fever-free to go back to school till tomorrow, I was like, I can do a live! Isn't that sad? My son is sick and I'm excited to do a live. It's a little thing sometimes, right? Okay, so what you're going to need for this, let me put these couple things away. And I do have one paper ready, and then the other one I think I'll do for the little miniature one. But no COVID, no strep. So yay, he only has an ear infection. He's on antibiotics and he's already feeling much better. So after the live today, we're going to be making cookies. So, you know, that's what you got to do when somebody's sick. We're going to make cookies. I'm going to eat because he doesn't feel good. It's kind of how it goes around here. So I want to show you really quickly before we flip down. Oops, so this is the one I cut incorrectly. So do you see this here? These are where these pieces are cut. This is wrong. This is the one mistake I made, because instead of cutting this way, I don't know why I thought this, and then you're going to put it this way, which kind of looks, maybe you could do a backwards one this way. I don't know. But anyway, what you want to do is on the score line, when you score this, you're going to cut in this way, this way, this way, this way. If you have a smaller paper, so again, this was 8x8. If you have a smaller paper, you're only going to do 2 clips, but it's really, really easy. You want to make sure whatever paper you choose that you like both sides, because they're both going to show. So again, this one, I had 2 pieces in this that are the same. Pretty much the rest of them are all mixed up, but they are the same color scheme. But quite honestly, I don't think it has to be matchy-matchy. The one I'm going to do is very close to matchy-matchy, only because this is not my favorite paper, but I thought it would go enough well together that you really wouldn't be able to tell and you could really jazz it up. But this is the Twoll Tidings. So there's that. So this is going to be red and green, and then on a vanilla base. Now all of these papers don't match, but they're close enough that you can't really, like, really tell the difference. So Oh, Pam, I'm sorry, Facebook. I'm going to tell you, you didn't miss a lot yet except the preview of what we're going to make, but we didn't make anything yet. So you really technically didn't miss anything, but you can always go back. And I want to say thank you guys so much for joining me. Everybody who came in, like last minute, maybe you found out. I really appreciate it. It makes me so happy to know that I can say I'll be live tomorrow and you guys are here. So that's great. I am still going to attempt to go live tomorrow at 5:30. That's Thursday, 5:30 Eastern Standard Time. So I'm still going to try to go live tomorrow as well. And then Saturday morning, I still will be live. But tomorrow, I might go to YouTube. And then Saturday, back to Facebook. So just stay tuned. So I'm going to move a couple of these things over because I need a little bit of space. So what you need, if you're going to make this, is... Oh, I miss you guys too. Believe me, I wish I could be live every day. It's fun. I miss crafting. So you need a pair of scissors. You need a stapler, you need a bone folder. Now, alternatively, so we did talk about this with the stapler. I will share a link to my blog in case you missed it. You can get the refill staples on Amazon. You stalk me. I love it. That's fine. If you don't want to use a stapler, I've heard that you can use a hot glue gun. Again, this is not my idea. I watched a video that Rhonda Wade did, and Rhonda Wade said her downline or friend Stephanie gave her the idea. I'm sure you've seen these everywhere. So stay tuned. You will see how to make it. We haven't made anything yet. I'll also show you the mess up. And you could hot glue this. You probably could use glue dots, but I'm going to tell you, I wouldn't have faith that they were going to hold tight. The other thing you could probably use is tear and tape if you wanted to hide the staples, but I'm going to be honest with you, you cannot see a staple on there unless you probably went looking for it. So the staples, since they're really tiny, the Stampin' Up! Stapler and the refills, that'll be probably fine, but I would go with tear and tape. I don't think glue dots would hold. Hot glue would be great, but you probably would burn your fingers a little bit. So I'd say go with tear and tape or staples. So we are going to get started. I'm going to move this over. So again, bone folder, scissors. You need 6 pieces. The rainbow stamper said that, why did I have a star that had 6 pieces on it? He didn't really understand that. So he wants me to also make a 5 paper one. So I'm going to make one of the miniature ones with just 5 pieces to see what it looks like. I don't know if it's going to affect it, but you know, kids, when you see a star with 5 points, that's what he went with. So we're going to do that. So for the smaller version, I'm going to use the poinsettia paper. I think that's which this one is. Pretty sure this is it. Yeah. The paper that goes with the poinsettia suite, because I have only used this one time. So I'm going to do that for the little mini one that maybe you could attach to like a tag or make into the tag. For the one we're going to make now, this is going to be 6 by 6, and again, we're doing tall tiding. So let me just move a few of these things out of the way. I'm going to put my staples back. Actually, I'm going to leave those out. I might need some of them. And I do have the hole punches, because if you want to attach this to something, you need to punch a hole in the top. So you could use any hole punch. I really, honestly, I don't think we carry hole punches anymore, which kind of makes me sad because we just don't. And I miss some of those things sometimes. So I'm going to move my other piece over. You could do this with any DSP though. Anything whatsoever. Doesn't have to be Christmas. It could be Valentine's. It could be Halloween if you wanted to give somebody a spooky wreath. It could be the In Good Taste would make like a really nice soft one. If people just wanted something to decorate something with. I don't know. I'm just thinking of ideas. So I'm going to flip you around. And then I'm going to plug in the microphone just because I'm not sure how close or far I'm going to be. So turn your head away if you get sick. And everybody just joining. See, Valita, Debbie, Rhonda, I saw you pop on there. Thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate seeing you guys. Hole punch. Good reason for a crocodile. Thanks for mentioning that, Kathy, because that is something else that Stampin' Up! Never carried. I got one of these on Amazon. It's the We Are Memory Keepers, but a great reason to have a crocodile too. Perfect. Thank you, Kathy. That was a super good reminder. All right, so I have you flip down. Let me move this over. Hi, Amy. I'm going to make sure I have my comments on here. A tool is a tool, and we should never retire them. Girl, you got that right. That is 100% accurate. Okay, so let me show you. I'm going to move this over. Hold on one sec. I got to move 2 things out of the way. And, all right, I'm going to plug in to my microphone. That hopefully you guys can hear me. let me keep my this, and this, and I'm going to move this all the way over. So you have 3 crocodiles. Holy cow. Yes, crocodiles are very, very useful. Okay, so I'm going to show you this because someone did say the video came out. So yes, I know they used to carry one. I think I must have been not crafting in that little time period where there was a couple tools that I missed out on. So this one I cut wrong. So you don't want to cut the strips this way. Do you see how they're cut cross? This is incorrect. So I only made one mistake when I made that very first one. So it's pretty simple. So what you're going to do is you're going to need 6 or 5, but we're going to do 6 for the first one, pieces of DSP that are measuring the same. So these are pretty close. So we see the green on the one side and the red on the other. So what you're going to do is you're going to fold this. So we're going to make one start to finish. So hopefully, I want to see if we can make 2. So we're just going to fold these corner to corner. Whatever side you want out is supposed to be face up, but quite honestly, I really don't think you can tell the difference because you're going to see it either way. When you put them together, you can kind of decide if you want them alternating or not. You could always flip your wreath around when you're making it. So just going to fold these corner to corner. So they have to be square. They have to be whatever, 5 by 5. I'm going to do a 4 by 4. I'm not sure how much smaller you can go than that. Probably could go as small as you feel like fitting your staple in, but so I'm just going to, I scored all them. I'm going to bone fold them all. Just reinforce my score line. This one must be on the edge up here. Gotta scoot this up a little bit. Keep sliding off when I'm doing it. So we're going to essentially do the same thing for all 6 of these, okay? All right, so. And I'm eyeballing it, so I'm not, so you have 6 triangles. I'm not measuring this, I'm just eyeballing it. So when I cut this, I cut these originally here. That's wrong. You want to cut from the score line. So at your score line is where you're going to cut. So just kind of eyeball, went in about 3/4 of an inch. And I've done these that they don't exactly match, so you want to make sure that these 2 pieces don't meet, or obviously you're going to cut a hole. So they don't really have to be precise. If you're a precise person, this might not necessarily be the correct project for you. So they kind of look like, for the most part, they match. Okay, so I'm just going to go through, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to attempt, I don't know if this is going to work, so I'm going to do this to see if it's simpler, but I'm really just trying to save time. So I'm going to cut 2 at a time. And see, you may not want to do this. And I kind of just look at them to see if they need like a little additional trim. Once you put them together though, quite honestly, you can't really tell if something's off. Go up a little bit farther on this one. Okay. Okay, 2 more. This is probably the longest part. But I like to do these, especially since this is only really the second one I've done. So we can see if there's something we're making a mistake of, we can fix it together. That way when you actually go to make yours, hopefully you won't make any mistakes. And honestly, if you do, this is a pretty forgiving craft, so. Okay, so now I'm going to put my scissors on the side for now. Now's when you're going to need the stapler. So what you're going to do is just kind of decide which one you want to go with first. It doesn't really make a difference, but you're going to alternate. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4 parts of a square here, okay? So you can see that 4 little parts, 4 corners. So you're going to just flip these in. This is super easy from here. And you're going to line the score line. You're just going to line it up. Just kind of slide this in, staple. Then you're going to flip it over. And you can see the score lines much closer when you're looking at it. And you're just lining the score lines up, flipping it back over. And you may be able to see the staples just a teeny bit more on this one because it doesn't have any color except for 2 in it. But really, that's it. So there's one. So all I'm going to do now is just go through and put the rest of these together. So I'm just alternating, flipping the pieces. And this one is a little bit tight. So if you notice this, and this may happen sometimes, I'm just going to give this just a teeniest extra little nip. It's not a lot. And kind of once you work with your paper a little bit, if you notice it doesn't work one way, you can always go back and do it the other way. This one's a little bit tight. I probably cut that a little too close to the corner. So again, this paper is 6 by 6. It was really easy to do the other one, probably because it was 8 by 8, so you had much better spacing in between. But it really just, I guess probably once you do one, you'll kind of get the groove of seeing where you should cut, and maybe it'll make it a little bit simpler. I don't really know. I guess it's kind of hard to say. It's like a work in progress. There you go. The staples are silver accenting. I love the way you think. This one is the same way. So I have a really high line here and not a very high line here. So I'm going to try to meet this a little bit, but I don't want to cut it too close that it's going to overlap. Same with this one. I don't think I went quite far enough. There. Silver bling. Very smartly written. I love it. So one thing you do have to remember, though, that this is just paper. So you probably aren't going to want to give this to somebody if they're looking for a wreath to hang on their front door and they live in an open cul-de-sac that has lots of winds that whip through, kind of like happened here the other day. But they could hang this on the inside of their door. Maybe you could get your kids or your grandkids to come over and make some of these, and you could decorate your Christmas tree with them. That would be really fun too, because they could be mini ones. You could have a bunch of friends over and you could make a bunch of these with your retired DSP that you haven't used, and you could hang these onto your Christmas presents, because I think these would make really cute little additions to the tags. I have one more little one here. I'm going to cut up a little bit. These look good otherwise. It usually seems to be for me that I have trouble more so I think with the center one. So what I probably should do is to cut the outside and then cut the center and then cut the one in between the two. I bet you it would give me better spacing. I'm going to try that when we make the next one. And I'm also going to do that one with just 5 pieces to see what it looks like. Okay, so that's 4. Let's see. So look, this one actually looks pretty good. This one's pretty tiny. Might have to go on this side. Looks like this side of the hole is a little bit bigger for my stapler. Well, you know what? This one's a little tiny. So I'm actually going to do this one little piece with a little piece of tear and tape. Oh, here's a little piece just sitting right here waiting to be used. We'll see. This will be the one where it decides it's going to pop out or something, right? Have a little piece of tear and tape. What I'm going to do is I'm going to stick my bone folder in. Nope, it's too small for that. Just going to give it a press. We'll see how that one works out. I have to keep you posted on whether or not that one decides to pop apart. So again, still just lining them up on the that score line, which is really makes it helpful to make these. And I'm really interested, the one that over there that I cut the wrong way, I have to see if maybe I can somehow put it together in a different fashion, and almost make the way the lines line up, it almost makes me wonder if it wouldn't go together. So this one has a little bit smaller of a curl there because this one was cut too wide. So you can see that's probably the only one that's too small, but it still should be fine. Okay, this one's kind of tiny too. Let's see. I don't have too much I can go with this one because I don't want to cut it off. It's only paper and it will rip if you're a little too rough with it. Same with this one. Oops. This one might need a piece of tear and tape too. So I'm just going to put it on the flap side here. Just fold that over. How much you want to bet? These are probably the two that I cut at the same time, and I cut them too close. All right, there's one. That's okay. At least we'll have two that match, that have slightly shorter middle rings. All right, so this is the final one. So now what you're going to do, oops, staple didn't staple correctly. What am I doing? I think it's angry with me now. Hold on. Need to put it flat before I do it. Dang it. What's going on with these? I wonder if we hit the impart. Hold on. Let me check my little thing here. Let's see. Yep, there's one in there that's goofy. Yeah. All right, let me try that one more. I got my two little extra staples here. I think they were butting up against each other incorrectly. There we go. So there's that. So we have those. Let me move these over so I don't accidentally drop them on the carpet and then proceed to step on them. So now what you're going to do is you're going to take 3 at a time, and you can kind of alternate if you want it to be green next to green or green next to red. So I'm going to go with that. I'm going to go with opposites. So we have red, green, red, green. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to staple these top pieces together. So I'm just looking at the pattern here, but then I'm going to make these meet up here, all 3 corners. So 1, 2, 3. So I'm just looking. So red, green, and I'm going to staple here. And then I'm going to do the same for this one. So red, green, red. I'll line these 2 up. Green. So same thing again. I'm just stapling these 3 corners together. Okay, then I'm going to staple these. So I have 2 pieces that we're going to put together. So now I have these 3 that are just connected at the end. So I'm going to staple this here. So where these 2 meet, for the most part. All right, where these 2 meet. All right, so that's one fully assembled side. This is the one thing that I think when he asked me if we could do it with 5, you probably could. I guess it just depends on if you like something that is symmetrical or not. I'm just stapling these other 2 sides together. Okay, then I'm going to bring these 2 pieces together. So these are the 2 ends. So again, I don't want them to be, you could make them so they're red, red, but I want them alternate. So red, green, red, green. So we're going to bring this together here in the middle. Make sure it looks like it lines up pretty well. And I actually put in 1 staple to hold this just in the middle. Then I'm going to staple this part together here. So I hope you can see this. I know it's probably not the best angle, but the way I have my camera set up, it's kind of the best I can do at this moment. And then we're going to staple the other side. Let's see. So put this one together here. Okay, then once I kind of got it hooked in, I actually went back and I put in an additional staple on each side in the center, kind of just to make sure it held it. You probably don't need it, but I felt like I wanted it to be there. So there you go. You can actually see this in here. So this again was done with 6x6 pieces. So now you can kind of pick a spot that you wanted to be the top. So I just have my punch here. You could use a crocodile depending on what you want it should be. So red, green, green, red, green, red, green. Yeah, so it does alternate there. So say we'll put this one as the top. I'm just going to punch a hole here, kind of in the center, just like that. And let's see. Since we have, this is a vanilla base, this is the one from the, I feel like it's Forever Greenery. So what we'll do is I'm not going to make this one quite as long, but we'll make a little piece. I'm going to put just the two ends together and put these through my hole like so. And then this one is really nice because the ribbon is super soft. So just kind of making like a slip knot. And that way if they wanted to hang this over their door, they'll have like plenty of a tail to be able to lift this up. And then the other thing you could do, so you could do, we'll kind of keep this one the same. I'm going to do this and I'm going to do the, oh, you know what'd be really pretty? Hold on. Hold that thought for 1 second, because I think this will be nice. You could do both of those. That one has the gold twine and then that soft vanilla ribbon. Or, because this one almost is like, I think this is vanilla with gold. You could even add this. You could make a nice bow with this. Let's see what one looks like. I feel like it needs to have something that's just a little bit bigger. So, might have to... The other one we have... that's pretty big is just the silver. And I feel like because this would be vanilla, I think I'm going to go with this. I think this will look nice. And I'm going to leave the ends just a little bit longer since this is a little bit bigger of a ribbon. So that was the gold edged vanilla. The other ribbon is silver edged, and I feel like that's more of a white. So we could take this. You could add this on with a hot glue gun if you really wanted to make it stick, but I'm going to try just for the ease of making it simple for you guys, because I know you don't want to watch me get out a hot glue gun and all that nonsense. I'm just going to put 2 mini glue dots on, and oops, this is the top here. Put this right here. Move this out of the way. So there, oops, is what it looks like. And then you could trim your ribbon if you wanted to. One's longer than the other one, so you have to trim it at least a little bit. Trim your ribbon up. You could use, again, you could use a larger, you could use a green or a red ribbon if you wanted to, but I kind of think this kind of almost sticks with that vanilla paper theme. So then you have a tail to hang it, and then you have this little vanilla ribbon. So pretty simple for that one, okay? So one other thing we're going to do, I'm going to move this over. Let me grab another clip, and hopefully I can do this without dropping it. So I'm going to just clip this over here for a second. It's out of the way, and then we'll make one more, and the other one we're going to make, I'm going to try and do it with the smaller pieces, and I'm going to see how it looks with just doing 5. Oh my gosh, guess what ribbon we totally could have used? Totally forgot about this one. Hold on, let me pull it over. This is a beautiful ribbon. This is the one that comes with 2. It's this and the gold cord. So this is that Argyle ribbon. This would be really pretty. So maybe somehow, depending on what colors this paper has in it, maybe we could make this one with that little thing there. Okay, so I have, this might work out. It kind of might go with that. So I'm going to go with picking, for this one, I'm going to pick just 2. So what if we do what did we say we want to do? That was 6 by 6. I'm going to do 4 by 4. So I'm going to try and see if I can get it out of this one. Let's see. Poinsettia might kind of be nice though to have something. The berries. I feel like I want something like that. Probably the hardest part is picking which paper you want to use. I want like something that has a nice contrast of red and green. I think I'm going to do these two. Let me see what I can do if I can get 5 out of this one for now. So, sorry, there's a lot of talking myself through what I was going to do there. Apologies. Okay, so what we're going to do is I'm going to do 4. I don't know how 4 by 4 is going to work, so we're going to have to see. But again, we're only going to need to make 2 cuts. So 4, do 2 of these, and we'll do 3 of the red. Let's see what that looks like. 2. This would be like something hopefully you could add to a gift bag, maybe. 4. And since this paper is 12 by 12 and it's cut down to 6 by 12, we can definitely get 5 pieces. Actually, we could get 6 if we really wanted to. What you could do is with these little extra pieces, maybe you could make them a little gift star, and then for these little extra leftover pieces, you could make some cards. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I'm going to cut this 6th one just in case it's looking like it's not going together well, so we could add it in if we need to. But I'm going to start with just 5. All right, so I have 5 pieces measuring 4 by 4. Oh, whoopsie. So I'm going to fold these over at the corner. So do make sure you use your bone folder. Corner to corner. I mean, it'll be kind of, it would be kind of neat to do something like this. And as a matter of fact, now that I say it, I'm going to do it. I'm going to do these for my gifts because Lord knows I have a ton of designer series paper, specifically Christmas themed designer series paper. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this. I'm going to make some little star ornaments to go on my gift bags this year. And then the cool part is whoever gets them, they could hang it up on their tree or something. I can always add like a little name tag to it and stamp something on it so they know who it's from. So we're going to try with the 5. So I have 2 of one and 3 of the other, but we're only going to do 2 cuts for this because it's so much smaller. Okay, so we're going to just do 1 and 2. You okay? Cutting in, kind of giving it like an inch. Remember, you don't want to cut to it, so this one I almost got a little bit too close for that. So just watch your cutting. I probably did better on that one. 1. Probably want to make sure you're about 3/4 of an inch separation, and then make sure you have about 3/4 of an inch at the end. So there's something that's connected. Okay, last one. Looks pretty good. Okay, so we're going to open these up. All you have to do is staple these. And then these would look really pretty too if you had like some gold cording that attached it. You could add your little name tag, like just a tiny little tag or something like that. So I'm going to take the pieces again, same thing. I'm just going to fold them in. Just like so. This will be less this time because we'll only have 3. So same thing, just fold in. This one is a tiny bit crooked, but it's okay. It'll still work out. So again, I'm just lining up my score line there. Can't imagine having to do this with a hot glue gun, only because I burn my fingers as it is with a hot glue gun, because I don't know, I guess I think I have invincible fingers. As a matter of fact, we were doing a project at school last week and I was putting something together and I glued off the end of my fingernail polish and part of my fingernail. So I do love hot glue guns, but the other thing that drives me crazy about them is that you always get that little trail of glue. No matter what you do, you have a little trail of glue that you can't seem to get rid of, that little trail. It's funny. You pull it off and you trim it, and then it's like another little piece forms. But they are super handy. Oh, must have got to the end of my staples again. They are super handy if you have little kid crafts that you're gluing together. That's always nice. Oh, ran out of staples. Hold on one sec. So that's one thing about these staples. They are, they're very short stacks of them. But again, you have so many of them, quite honestly. It took me a really long time to just go through what I had. What was I doing with this one? This way. That's right. Okay. All right, and the last one. So this isn't really an exact measuring science. Remember that it's going to look, everyone's going to look a little unique, which is pretty cool also. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're going to alternate for this. So I'm just going to do, I'm going to do 2 and 3. I'm going to staple these 2 together. That way if I feel like I need the third one, we can always add it. So there's those 2. And then these I will sandwich in between. So it would be that. Is that right? Hold on, because this would be this way. 1, 2, and 1. Oh, hold on. 1, 2. Oh, see, so here's where I should have probably. So I'm going to have one that's going to be the same. So that's the only thing you're going to end up with, is if you had all the same paper, it probably would be okay. I guess that's going to just be like a personal preference of if that does or doesn't annoy you, right? So let's see. If it goes like that, I'm saying this one matches. And then you would have what on the other side? Berries. I don't know. I feel like I don't really know. What do you guys think? You think you could do it with 5? Do you think it would have to be that it was exactly matching to be 5, so all the paper went together to make it be 5? I don't really know how I feel about this. So I'm going to wait and see what you guys say before I put this last piece together. I have my last 4x4 square, so it certainly would be easier. You think 6? All right, I'm going to go with 6 as well. I agree with you. I think to get, unless you had paper that was exactly the same. So if you had 5 pieces exactly of the same sheet, then you could probably do it. So maybe we could try that. I could do that after the fact. We could try one that way, because I do think it would have to be enough that it was symmetrical spacing wise, just to please those of us who don't have a young imagination, right? There you go. All the same paper, or all different. That's a great idea, Mary. Okay, so I'm going to attach this one. So make sure I have this on the right. So we have this and then that, and then we'll put these together. So I'm just doing these, since I put that one together, I just did 2, 2, and 2. So we'll just pop these together. So we'll go with this. Put these 2 together. This is just an extra staple or so. And then these we'll add to it. Make sure they're still, for the most part, lining up. Okay, then I just have to clip these little ends together. So these are pretty simple. You just want to make sure you get all of your layers. That way you know it's going to be a little bit more sturdy. So I'm trying to make sure that I get both pieces of this little X right here, if you will, lined up. All I can say is I'm kind of surprised I've never made one of these before, because it is really fun. And quite simple, actually. Probably the hardest part is deciding what paper you're going to use. Okay, so here is a little bit tighter. So this, I will say, is a little bit more snug. I probably should have attached these as 3 and 3, because this one here is going to be a little bit of a pull, just because of the 3 and the 3 tightness. Oops. Got a little rip there. It's all right. I'm going to pop this one in. So maybe if you were going to do a smaller one, just looking at this after the fact, you might want to do, maybe we could have done just 4, or I really should have watched my assembly with the 6 and the 6. Yeah, because this one is apart. That's why. So let me add this back together, see if that helps it out a little bit. I'm going to add in a couple extra staples. You could probably hot glue the centers if you wanted to for this one, but still, even though this is separated a little bit here in the middle, it's because of the way we put this together. I don't think it's too bad, and quite honestly, not anything that a bow couldn't hide. So this, I think, is probably a little bit dark for, no, actually, it's kind of like a nice coordination. I'm going to do that. So I want to pull this one, put this through. It really is a nice contrast. I didn't want to say coordination. It's a nice contrast. Okay. All right. Now I do feel like, because this is a pretty big bow, you definitely are going to need something for this one. I think you probably would benefit from a dab of hot glue for this one, just because of the size of it. But I'm going to put a couple mini glue dots again, just to save on time. And it'll kind of, so we have like a little bit of a wonkiness to it. It kind of will almost even out. We're going to decide what is going to be our top. I think this one is. Kind of even out our wonky feel there. I'll put that on there. You could probably, even if you wanted to, add a little bit of liquid glue and then put your glue dot on. Only other thing we need is our hole punch. And I'm still going to do a pretty good size ribbon or a good size hole on there. So what we'll do is, I think we have it right here. You kind of do either one of these. So you could do, this one is the, I can't remember what they called this. It had a strange name. Of course, it's not written here, is it? The embroidered ribbon, which I don't really know if it necessarily looks embroidered. That would go with it, very neutral. Or you could even use the gold trim that actually coordinates with this green. I'm going to do that. We're just going to cut a little length. Doesn't need to be huge, again, because this is only going to be small enough you could attach this to a package or something. So we'll put this here. Pull our little loop through. Definitely would put a little, you could put a tag through here before you give this one another little knot. But then you could hang this from something, you could trim this up, you could add your little tag, you know, to Rainbow Stamper from Mommy, something like that. But it's still very cute. Again, really just depends on what ribbon you want to use. So let me just move this. I'll see if I can get, I don't know how many of these I can get in here because they are kind of a little bit on the bigger side. You do need your stapler. I will put the links to that. So here's one. And here is the other one we made. And I'm going to have to, I had to take pictures of the other one. I actually took pictures of it on the floor. So I'll have to take pictures of these two. And then I'll add all the stuff to the post. And then the last one, just to give you a size difference. So you see this one we did 5x5, 6x6, and this one we did with 8x8. It doesn't even fit in the frame, it's so big. But you could make these of all different sizes, and definitely I think if you wanted to go the route of making them with just a 5-piece star. So even though this one, I will say, it kind of looked a little wonky because the way we put it together, once you put the bow on, it kind of brings it all together. It does really still look very cute. But once you put them together, with the 5 pieces, if you used 5 of the exact same piece of paper, I think it wouldn't matter if you used 5 because you wouldn't have that competing side of paper to decide which one you wanted to use it with, if that makes sense. Hopefully it does. So thank you guys very much for joining me. You could also do 5 completely different pieces of paper because then it wouldn't matter whatsoever. I think with the big one, because it has such different papers, that if you did 5 different ones, if you wanted to do a 5-point star instead of a 6, I think that would work out really well also. So thank you guys so much for joining me. I hope you enjoyed this today. I know I sure did. So now I'm going to be on a roll and everybody's going to be getting paper decorative stars. And they're going to be like, why is Rachel giving us all paper stars? I'm going to have to start custom designing them for people. If you guys would like to get any of the products to be able to make this, all you have to do is visit my online store, rachthestamper.stampinup.net. I currently have a special that you will be receiving once the orders go through, so it won't be until after the end of this month. But if you spend $35, you get a package of the holiday decorative rhinestones. So they're really cute. They'll go great with all of your Christmas products. So that's with any $35 purchase using the host code that's at the top of the page here. If you need more information, that'll be posted to my blog later as well. And I hope you guys have a great day. I will see you again tomorrow evening. We'll make some sort of a card together. Maybe we can make something with the scraps of this that we could send along with this as part of our gift. Maybe we could do that. That's a good idea. I'll see if I can wrap that together. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you again real soon. Thanks for watching.